I heard I have to try public subs because so many people have said that. So
Oh man,
I gotta go try
girl,
it.
I'm telling ya. Anyway, welcome back to part 2 with Nakia from the podcast
What's up?
Transitioning Without Lenses. Well, I'm from the podcast. Merlin is from the podcast Transitioning Without Lenses. Nakia's podcast is what is it? The Working Lady Show?
Podcast lady.
Podcast Lady.
Lady. Yeah.
Link in description. Anyway, unfortunately, last time around, some of our audio got cut off. That's my fault. Um,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I accidentally unplugged my mic. What can I say? Being an elf, I did not major in technology, so I'm not really fucking with technology. I major in spiritual attributes, which I'm actually failing at the moment. Elf in college is something fierce, and it's something that I do not recommend. Yes, yes, Lord, I am. But that's not something I want to focus on. Give me one second. Sometimes you gotta close the veil when you walk into the recording room, you know? But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I'm failing. It's just there's a lot of stuff that like me and my spiritual mentor had talked about previously, and there was stuff I was supposed to go follow and do, and there's stuff I haven't done. You know, there's tasks I got to do out there. You know, but we'll talk about that also later. We were talking about the concept of love in the 21st century, and I was saying like after you're done with love and like after that whole experience is over, you got to learn something from it. You know, you got to continue striving towards your goals as a person, or you're gonna get lost out there. You know, I think I said you gotta if you were trying to be a doctor, you gotta continue striving on to be a doctor. You know, and then
Exactly.
in all honesty, if you don't, then that person got the best of you. I understand that happens to the best of us, though. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes we get broken as people, but it's our jobs, not someone else's. Not like some strange new person that's trying to invade our lives. It's our jobs to fix ourselves and help ourselves grow and become healthy again as people. Before we go back out there into the dating world, it's not a healthy trait to hop right back into the dating world right after one relationship is over. A healthy trait is to sit down and review what really went down in that relationship. Were you toxic? Was the other person toxic? Were you both toxic to each other at the same time, which is usually the cause of a breakup?
Yeah, I can definitely agree, with that because me myself, I have been one of those types of people that kind of like jumped in a relationship and then jumped into the next one because kind of like the fear of being alone. So I realized, like I haven't been in a relationship for a little while now. So I'm like, I know for a fact, like you just said, I can't, no point in going out here in the dating world if you 100% don't have yourself 100% together because it's like, if you don't have you together, what do you think you're going to attract? And the relationship is not going to be what you want it to be. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's important for, male and female to focus on loving yourself and focus on building yourself, getting yourself established and all that good stuff before you go out here trying to find a relationship.
Very true. Very true. Also,
Yeah.
here's the craziest thing I will say about the relationships I've seen out here so far. They seem like they're make or break, you know? Half of them are just made to be, and then the other half are just like, nah, I can see that one breaking in like 2 months. Then they're like, no, we're married. And I'm like, well, I guess they were made, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. One day,
And also,
it's
here's the
just kind of
weirdest
like,
thing. A lot of people, I'm sorry to cut you off.
oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
A lot of people, like, let other people influence their love and change their feelings and emotionally, like, other people get in their ear, you know? I guess that's technically called gossip or something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
In the elfin
Yeah,
community,
you
we
def-
always just wish each other the best and good hopes when talking about a relationship. And we always only offer good advice, you know, and if we don't have any good advice through personal experience, then we don't offer it, you know, we keep our mouth shut. But I mean, that's an elfin thing.
yeah. Definitely don't want everybody all up in your relationship business.
True. I will say, even though there are arranged marriages in the elfin community, and I hear they're working out very properly. more probably than like you think they would be. I don't know if I truly believe in that kind of concept personally myself. I always feel like my soulmate's out there and will find me naturally. But I will have on a guest from an arranged marriage one day on the podcast. So stay tuned on the podcast. Not from the elfin community. Unfortunately, I've reached out to a lot of elves in the elfin community, and they're not okay with speaking about their experiences on the podcast. Not that they're bad experiences. It's just that it's been a very hidden community, and getting out there nowadays, especially during such a weird time in internet history, because it seems like there's just a lot of hatred in America, in the atmosphere of the internet at least. We're all always at each other's necks for the weirdest shit. But past that, they just don't feel like it's the right time. I don't know.
So let me ask you, the elfin community, like, what is this community? Can you explain it? Because I don't really understand what it is. Like, you
I
know?
mean, I think I'm allowed to release like certain propaganda that they release to the citizens and all that stuff, like the people of this community. But past that, I'm not sure if I can really like go into deepest detail. I mean, I think I can like tell my personal story because I mean that's my personal shit. But past that, I don't know if I can share other people's experiences and stuff like that because these people they have more influence than I do for sure, and are
Okay.
always watching. So with that being said, I want to be as safe as possible. But Merlin the elf always tries to be as appreciative to the people that made it possible for me to be here. Um, you know who I'm talking about. Shout outs to the All Father. Past that, I will say that being an elf requires a lot of strict, like, weird things to your life. It's almost like you gotta go vegan when it comes down to eating too. That's a little annoying. I mean, no one's checking up on you, but I mean, that's just like the way they're supposed to be living and stuff like that. But personally, I'm not connected to any like clan or tribe at the moment, which sucks. But when I was, it's a very nurturing community that only shares like good ideas and growth and always works on one singular project together. That's mostly what transfers people through tribes projects. Um, I will say that elves don't have a last name. They just have like a title, and the title's their last name. Um, so when I said Merlin the Elf, that's not my last name. That's just like something you guys can call me. It's just Merlin the Apprentice at the moment because I'm apprenticing for some cool stuff. Past that though, I don't know. There's not much I can think of off the top of my head. I can release you some propaganda, like I said, and I can forward you some stuff. But past that, we'll figure it out. I'll start asking
That's
what I
what's
can
up.
release and what I can't because I'm not trying to disappear.
Yeah,
The
like,
government's not the only
I
people that
don't
make
want to.
people disappear.
I don't want to cause any issues or anything. I was just asking because it's like,
Well,
you
I
kept
will say
saying,
this to those who are out there disenfranchised. There are a lot of disenfranchised elves out there. There is a website that I got to see if I can be linked to because I know there are people that get reached out to, which I was talking to an elf just like a good, I'd like to say 2019 or around 2019 or maybe like the beginning of 2019 maybe or late 2018. I hate to be like that. But I was talking to an elf. They just gotten inducted in and all this stuff, and they were telling me how like they had just discovered their heritage and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my god, that's lit. I was like, that's crazy, dude. I was like, I didn't know like they let people back in that aren't like already in like that, like it's something like you're grown into and like you're always in and then like you just grow out of, I guess. I mean like it's not something you grow out of per se, but you kind of grow on to do what you were meant to do in life. Because I mean that's one of the things that elfin spirituality focuses on is life calling. A lot of people out there are for lack of a better term, drifters in human society when they don't really have a main purpose or goal or focus to their lives. And elfin society doesn't really have that problem. That's what a lot of elfin schools are there for you to like grow and prosper your gifts, God-given gifts or creator-given gifts because we don't really, refer to him or her in any certain name or gender specifically. But past that, mm, I know
that's very
like
interesting. A lot of the things that you said, I can agree with. So that's dope. But yeah,
for
that's dope.
sure, like a lot of our concepts have leaking out there into Western society, and I like that. But I don't know what our influence is per se on the media or anything like that. I don't want to put any specific spotlight on anything like that. Is too much for sure. But I will say that I'm very glad that like people are questioning That's what this podcast is all about. I feel like there's a new enlightenment coming up, and I feel like there should be someone there to document it, for sure. If other elves want to join, I will say I'm always there to talk, even if you don't want to come on the podcast. It's lonely being a disenfranchised elf out here, even when you just ran from our beliefs and decided to go do your own thing. I know how it feels. But let's get back to the podcast. I'm sorry, it's enough about me. We're interviewing you, Nakia. Lord knows.
I know it's cool though, but that was very interesting.
Yeah, we can talk more about it privately because for sure, what I'm down to share on this stuff compared to what I'm down to share to you privately is totally different.
All right, we'll definitely talk later.
Um, let's get back on track. Speaking of new enlightenment, though, what are your thoughts on what's happening out here and what may be called the new enlightenment? I feel like it's been brought on by Corona, but a lot of people say it's been sparked beforehand. First off, my reasoning for my hypothesis of it being sparked by COVID and Corona is a lot of people had a lot of time on their hands to sit down and think, sit down and really gather what's been going on in their lives and where they want to be and how far they are from their objectives and goals. So it gives people time to reevaluate and really take a step back from it all. And we don't really have that time out there because when you're trying to survive, when can you take a breath to say, what am I doing? You're surviving for real. Yeah, everyone gets that. But past that, what am I doing in life? I'm just doing the rat race. I'm just running the same circle. And a lot of people out here broke out of that during Corona time and thought to themselves, it's time I start doing my dreams. It's time I start making my passions come true. It's time I start making my side hustle my main hustle because I know it can work for me.
Hmm.
And I'm sure you're one of those people that have done it. That's why you're on the cast. I know there's other individuals that have done it. They'll be on the cast.
Yeah, agree with that. To an extent, because I feel like more people woke up during COVID. I feel like a lot of people were already waking up because um, I've kind of been in the conscious community and the enlightened community for a while now. I wouldn't say in the community, but like, oh, on Facebook, you add people and then you get mutual requests, and it's like people that are into the same things that you're into that are like up on their spirituality and a lot of
For
different
sure,
things.
and
So
also, I mean,
enlightenment has
you do manifest what you put out there, so I assume people gravitate towards you just in regular life, just through regular experience.
yeah,
But
true,
continue on.
true.
Sorry.
So I've experienced a lot of enlightened people. I would say that I woke up, for lack of better terms, I know, started realizing a lot of things back in like 2000. Well, let me say this, I've always been like an enlightened being. I've always questioned things and always had a different perspective on things. But when I really woke up and realized it was like 2016, 2015, and I started realizing how many other people were like on the same frequency and who had the same mindset and the same mentality. So, I feel like it's just kind of been out there. But um, yeah, COVID now it's like everywhere, and it's like the new thing. Like everybody's woke or everybody's enlightened, and everybody's doing their own thing and like trying to strive to do. You know what I'm saying? Know something more than they've been doing, and like you said, evaluating themselves and getting life together. You know what I'm saying? Getting themselves together and figuring out life and all that good stuff.
Heck yeah, for sure. A weird, trippy question is, what is enlightenment in the first place? It's like, is it a state of mind? Is it just a state of being? What is enlightenment? I know the Dalai Lama has described enlightenment as a thing. I don't want to quote him. I don't want to quote anybody else. I want to tell you what I feel like enlightenment is personally, so that we can get a good tone to
Okay.
the rest of this series, baby. Let's get it going. Enlightenment to me personally is just searching for more answers. Enlightenment is not accepting the social norms that are happening in front of your face and questioning what can be and how to get there and then putting action behind it. That's enlightenment. Unwokeness is to just sit there and accept everything as it is and participate in the rat race without any action to change it, or try to change your exact situation, even if not changing the world, at least try to change your exact situation, because enlightenment does start with a personal level, growing to be a conscious level towards other people, like my enlightenment starting with me finding how to help myself, and then I started thinking to myself, I love helping other people though, you know and then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, my spiritual
Yeah.
guy set me down, and then we figured out, I'm meant to help other people, of course, past that. How is the real big question, and then you do some soul searching, you sit there and you figure it out. Thank God elves have mentors, because otherwise I think I'd be, a little bit loster than I am. But still, even with a mentor, you still make mistakes, and there's still foothold.
Of
You gotta
course.
get into what you're doing before you can grow, You gotta really sit down and focus on the basics, and that's to be said about anything that you're jumping into. If you don't sit down and focus on the basics, um, how are you gonna tackle them when you get the higher, more advanced stuff? When you're sitting up there making business deals, doing this and that and this and that, how you gonna say, okay, we're doing this merger when you didn't even like understand a non-disclosure agreement?
Mm-hmm.
Better reasons why I'm like, we should figure out, somebody should really sit down and change the way we elect a president, because the people that we have this year is just wild. But past that, I won't talk on the election and my political belief.
Yeah,
Not
let's
about
not
pushing
get
that
too
out.
much of that because,
Okay.
but I agree with you about enlightenment. I feel like it is about self. Um, you know, in a sense where you have to know yourself. When you become enlightened, I think that's the first thing that I was taught on my journey was to know thyself. Because I feel like when you know yourself, um, you come in tune with yourself. You become in tune with your body, your mind, your soul, every part of you, and you also, what I'm saying, can you open your mind and you can see the world for what it truly is. And you can see things for what they truly are, and you're in tune with your intuition, and you're doing, what I'm saying. I feel like you're doing what you're meant to do. Like you said, you feel like you're here to help people. You tap into your calling, and you start to, what I'm saying, walk in your calling. And I feel like that is what an enlightened being is. Somebody that's, awoken to their purpose here on earth. That, for one thing, I have to say this, somebody that is healing, what I'm saying, or that has healed themselves, or that is healing. Well, healing is a lifelong process, I believe.
Yes, Lord.
But I feel like it's very important for us to be able to heal ourselves, what I'm saying, and get over like past traumas and things of that nature. So yeah, I think enlightenment is just about truly waking up and then tapping into your fullest potential in life, and on the spiritual side, um, I feel like I could kind of say the same for spiritual, is just tapping into yourself and knowing who you are, and understanding yourself. So, that's my output, my input, excuse me. That's my input on that.
For sure. For sure. I hate to cut it while it's getting good, but thank you for tuning in. And we'll be back for part 3, it sounds like, which is amazing.
Oh,
Heck yeah. Tune in next time. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And when I say comment, I do. Parker does. Bex does. Odebeck does. Kipper does. Everybody on the team, including Caveman, reads these comments. Please comment. I will read it. I promise you. I may not shout it out, but I'll read it and I may comment back another comments. I'm begging you to comment and check out our merch on Redbubble. I'll link in the description, and I'll also link her podcast, and I'll also link her business page, and anything else that we talked about on the first part, and that we may be talking about on the third part. Thank you for coming. Hope everyone has a good night.
peace.